Welcome to Flourish. I'm Diane Planidin, and you're in the right place if you're ready to create an inspired life. And we do so by working on our own personal development, so we can be strong role models for those we love and mentor, and strong for ourselves. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about parenting. As you may have been watching or reading along or listening to this show, you know that I'm super into the psychology of being human. And one of my favorite reads is from Maslow. And he talks about being and peak experiences and development as a human. Now, why parenting? Why now? Well, we're getting close to the holidays, and sometimes that can be a difficult time for both parents and children alike. And the cool thing about us humans is that we are each individual snowflakes, and no two are alike. We have different fingerprints, we have different structure, even though we're related, right? And if you have siblings, you could be completely polar opposite of your siblings. Now, this is what Maslow has to say about parenting. Far more important for me have been such experiences as having a child. He's talking about the self-actualization and peak experiences. He says, our first baby changed me as a psychologist. It made that behaviorism I had been so enthusiastic about look so foolish that I could not stomach it anymore. It was impossible. Having a second baby? And learning how profoundly different people are even before birth made it impossible for me to think in terms of the kind of learning psychology in which one can teach anybody anything. Or the John B. Watson theory of give me two babies and I will make one into this and one into the other. It is as if he never had any children. We know only too well that a parent cannot make his children into anything. Children make themselves into something. The best we can do, and frequently the most effective we can have, is by serving as something to react against if the child presses too hard. Yes, he values that more than anything else. That you are there not to raise your child how your parents did, not to have them turn out the same as you. I mean, they will mimic you. They will role play with you. They learn by watching you. But the best thing you can do is to help them become who they want to be. Become self-actualized and beings that blossom and flourish and thrive. Not so easy, especially if you have a different agenda than your child, if you have different expectations than your child, or if you have none whatsoever. We now know that our environment is super, super important. Genetics, you can't do anything about. But environment, you can. I'll link at the episode I did on nature versus nurture. It gets a little bit more into the science if you're super interested in that with the genetics and the epigenetics and how we can build. Okay, don't think it's too late. You can still help your children. You can still help yourself if you are listening to this podcast just for yourself. Understand, it doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is what are you becoming? What are you being? Because you have a choice. You have a very specific choice. And sure, maybe you have to hit the reset button on yourself. Maybe you have to hit the reset button for your children. Just to let them discover what they really, really enjoy. And that's not easy. Sometimes there could be outside influences from peers or television or YouTube videos that might not be great, but you have to work through that. And that's what Maslow was saying. You have to be there to help your child understand the consequences and the choices that they have and what happens when they make certain decisions. Like for my son, for example, he loved watching Survivor Man. Oh, Survivor Man. He could, build a fire out of a wet tree, just like whatever. So he wanted to learn, how do you make a fire? What if you have to survive in the wild? What does Survivor Man do? Very simple example. So we built a fire in the backyard and not in the fireplace. We built it like Survivor Man would have. It was a safe area to do it, but we did it together. And he taught himself with my background supervision, but I did not show him or do the work for him. But he taught himself how to make a fire. I think he was around 11 or 12 at that time. It came in handy. He really wanted to know how to do that. Now, that's a very simple example, but if you put it into play and if you put it out there and you start being hyper aware what your children are interested in, what are you interested in? Have you been too afraid to check? Just remember Maslow. None of us are the same. One size does not fit all. If you get out there and you start building upon becoming exactly who you want to be, and you have to explore that too, right? You have to try different things. You have to, maybe be around different people, but it's an exploration on becoming yourself, on being human, and you will live a more inspired life. Well, if you like the show, share it with somebody you know, and we would really appreciate a little thumbs up or subscribe. Maybe put us something in the comments. Love to hear from you.